Hey, YouTube family, and welcome to another Kevin Strong show. Are people leaving the United States because they're so upset that Trump won the election? We're going to talk about that in this video. I'm going to show you an article talking about countries where people are moving to and leaving the United States. And as promised, those of you who follow me on Facebook, I'm going to give you some insight on this contest that I'm in. It's a trading platform sponsored by tradingview.com. And basically, it's a 30-day contest from November 1st to December 1st. And I think the top people get cash prizes. If you come within a certain ranking, you can get a 6-month free subscription to TradingView. So I'm going to tell you after 3 weeks where I rank among other contestants. There's probably over 100,000, and how much money I've generated from paper trading in just 3 weeks. So if you're new to the show, welcome. Start off by hitting that bell notification. Think about subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, we're going to slide over here and look at this article, because apparently, at least based on the title, people are leaving the United States because they're just fed up with the way our country's moving. Specifically because Donald Trump has won the election. So as you can see here, the title of the article is American Interest in Moving Abroad Skyrockets After Trump's Win. Here's how many would actually leave. So as you can see right here, before we get into the article, there's been a Google trend that basically people are searching leaving the country. And this has been one of the top 10 Google searches in lieu of the most, basically the election. How to move to Canada, that peaked November 6th. Why somebody would opt for leaving the United States, going to Canada, I have no idea. I think this is more so emotional than logical. And I'm going to prove that as we continue to go down in this article. Another point is that those searching for can I move to another country was the highest in two pivotal blue wall swing states, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, which NBC News has called for Trump, as well as Oregon, Minnesota, and Indiana. So apparently these are traditionally, specifically Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, are considered, I guess, blue states, even though they're swing states. They can go either way, depending upon who's running. But I guess a lot of folks in these prospective states that they're listing here, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Oregon, Minnesota, and Indiana, are so upset that Trump won and Harris did not, that they're contemplating not only leaving the state, but leaving the country altogether. So they had a survey, and the survey says, hey, they found 21% of Americans said they would consider moving abroad if their preferred candidate lost the race. This is something I do not understand, and I'm not throwing shade. I'm trying to be objective here. So if somebody wants to fact check me on what I'm about to say, I encourage you to do so. I don't recall when Biden won in 2020, those being so unhappy with the results that they were talking about on social media, on various platforms, talking about leaving the United States. Yes, there were people on the right that felt that the country was going to get a lot worse. In retrospect, I think that is accurate. I do not think he's done a good job, if I'm being objective about it, if I'm looking at the last 4 years in terms of inflation and things of that nature. It just has not been a good look the last 4 years. So like I said, I just don't recall when the Republicans lost, them being so emotional and so rushed to judge on so many different social issues like some of the folks on the left. But I digress. So let's talk about specifically where Americans are moving to. And this article basically listed 15. Canada, I don't understand. United Kingdom, I do not understand. I'm sure you guys have seen articles there in the UK talking about, even if you come out with an opinion on social media that's not in line with the elites, you can be jailed for that. Japan has natural disasters. I don't think it's really that cheap. A lot of people say there's places there that are affordable. I haven't done too much research. Australia is expensive. Italy has natural disasters, I think primarily in the southern part. I think the northern's a little bit more modern, has better infrastructure. Ireland, I hear a lot of good things about it. If you don't mind the cold weather, it can be very expensive there. Don't know anything about New Zealand. Switzerland, to me, is kind of like Ireland in terms of very expensive, great health care, but you're going to have to deal with inclement weather. Spain has its good and bad points. France, hell no, we won't go. Don't know too much about Sweden, Germany, the Netherlands, Costa Rica, not too far from Panama, which is on my top list. And Mexico obviously has a lot of good and bad if you can deal with the heat. Some honorable mentions that I think is Thailand, specifically Hua Hin, which is kind of like a beach community. It's about 3 hours south of Bangkok. You can stay there for 180 days before you get taxed as a tax resident. Greece is on a short list in terms of potentially me staying there, maybe for a couple months out of the year, whenever I decide to retire, but not making it my flagship residence overseas. Right now, the leading candidate for that choice is Panama. No taxes on anything that you earn outside of Panama, and you can get permanent residency. Not citizenship, but permanent residency within 6 months, and they do not require you to live there year-round to maintain that status. Medellin, Colombia, some people like it, some people don't. Hey, there's some beauty there, if you know what I mean, but you got to be careful. And Malaysia, I hear, is really, really, really pretty good. So wanted to kind of go down that list. How do I know all this stuff? I've done a lot of research within the last year about possibly living overseas if and when I decide to retire, because more than likely it will not be when I do retire, it will not be in the United States. So here's why Americans want to move abroad. I found this very interesting. The top two reasons is culture and job opportunities. You're not going to get a lot of job opportunities by moving to a different country. You increase your purchasing power if you leave the United States, go to a country that's considerably cheaper, and you can take your US dollars and you're going to stretch further. But to leave the US and try to ingratiate yourself into a foreign job market without being fluent in the language and not having the right connections, I don't see that as even a viable possibility. Culture and job opportunities. Healthcare is third, weather, crime, ancestry, taxes, and education. So for me, based on this list, if I had to rank them, I'd probably say taxes and healthcare for me would be 1A or 1B. That's how I look at that. It's funny that they're not concerned about taxes. Everybody's concerned about taxes. Nobody wants to pay. I'm just a little shocked that only 3% in this particular survey listed that as a priority in terms of when they decide to move to another country, what's really important to them. So what do I deduce by all of this? I think this is just emotional blowhard stuff. As you go down here, I think it said tax and education. We talked about that, but I think I seen somewhere in the article that they said that when they started to do a little bit more deep diving on this, very few individuals would actually leave when pressed. Among those polled, nearly 60% said they would be very likely to move, while only 2.6% said that they were very likely to uproot and leave. If I had to guess, I would think it would probably be more women than men that would probably take action because of something like this, but I don't have any details to support that statement. So last but not least, as promised, I want to give you some insight on this trading thing. I'm not backsliding at all. I am no longer giving stock advice. I wouldn't really call it advice, but sharing my stock trades, because I'm not a financial planner, all those other disclosures. So I was basically sharing my stock trades with you on YouTube and on Facebook. I know I'm no longer doing that, but I am giving some insight for those of you who have been hitting me up on Facebook saying, hey, what's going on with your trading? I know you posted some things on Facebook talking about this contest you entered. How's it going? You know, what's going on in that nature? So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. And that's going to pretty much wrap up this video, a little bit shorter video. So what I want to draw your attention to here is I'm actually filming this live. It's 11:15 a.m. on Friday, November 22nd. If you can see my mounts here, right over here, near the lower half to the left of the screen, it says paper trade, which means this is fake money. So the account says 303,000, but really we started with 200,000. You know, you can borrow, you have purchasing power. I'm not going to explain all that, but for those who understand it, The real dollar amount was 200,000. So just add that for what it's worth. So in 3 weeks, I've taken a $200,000 account and have generated $103,000. And if you see the numbers moving here on the right and down here in the middle, the only position I have right now is on Dogecoin. You can see this is live trading. So $100,000 in 3 weeks is pretty good. I think I'm in the top 10 percentile in this contest. And like I said, there's over 100,000 people. So that's basically generating $33,000 a week. So before you start asking me for a loan, no, this is atypical because you have to do a lot of aggressive trading to keep up with other contestants to try to win a prize. So I'm doing things out of my normal trading pattern that I wouldn't normally do. So I cannot extract the results of this paper trading example and tell you, hey, based on this skill set, guess what? I can make $30,000 a year because some of the trades that I'm putting on in order to try to stay competitive, I would never take that risk with my own money. So I'm giving you full disclosure with that. So in order to find out where I'm ranked, let me see if I can pull that up here. Okay, I found it. So we're going to stop this here, and I'm going to show you one more screen. So my account with TradingView is called Credit Booster 65. This is profit that I have made, I think either yesterday or today. Yesterday, I was at the 7th percentile. I've moved down a little bit to 8th percentile, and that's where I'm at, 4,430. So even though I've made, over $100,000, I'm sure there's some professional traders, and this is the leaderboard. See, and then that's me right down here, Credit Booster 65. Okay. So I'm sure there's some full-time traders that are doing this to try to win prizes or whatever. I only trade a couple of times a day, maybe 2 trades, and you can trade as often as you want in this account. So not bad at all, not bragging, but just letting you guys know that's something that I enjoy and that's something that I am continually trying to master. No pun intended. So hope you enjoyed this edition of the Kevin Strong Show. Like I said, I think people are getting way too emotional about this. Put your big boy pants on, just like the right had to do in 2020. And if you're looking for an excuse to leave the country because you didn't get the political results that you're looking for, I think that's more of an indictment on, as I've said before, you not really being in control of your own life. Because chances are most of us who are either upper middle class on down or not the elite, who's ever in office is really not going to have an impact on our daily lives, our ability to save money, our ability to pay down our debt. Now, it can to some degree when you start talking about inflation and things of that nature. So I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. But what I'm saying is that if you're living paycheck to paycheck now, you probably were living paycheck to paycheck in 2020. It's just has gotten worse because of inflation. And even when Obama was in office, you probably were living paycheck to paycheck then because of your mindset and not willing to embrace delayed gratification. So those are some things that you have to deal with internally and not look for external pleasure to make you feel good about yourself inside. It's up to you to be happy, regardless of the political affiliation, regardless what's happening, and always keep your head on a swivel looking for opportunities. Keep your credit score up and your debt down. This is going to do it for the Kevin Strong Show. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up, hit the bell notification if you have not subscribed to my channel. Have a great weekend, ladies and gents. And y'all come back now, you hear?